And joining us now from Toronto is Aubrey Freedman. Welcome so much to the CJ and Daily. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's great to meet you. And, you've been fresh off a big week for you and your family. Why don't you tell us how this protest at Yorkdale in Toronto got started?
With all great ideas, it was a couple of moms talking late at night, a little chat. When we were so elated last week when we heard that schools were going to stay open, and we thought finally, like, some common sense is prevailing. And then when we got the notice Sunday night that there were discussions that they were going to shut down the schools, and then Monday midday, the announcement officially came. And I think we were all incredibly disheartened that schools were closed, their gyms were closed and sporting activities, but you can go to the mall to go shopping, which is, Yorkdale's a great mall. But the fact that we could bring all of our children there during the day, but they couldn't all be together at school, seemed a little silly to us, especially, given the restrictions in place in schools and the way things have been going. But so we were just like, this is a bit absurd, right? And then we sort of were joking and said, we should have a classroom. We should do our virtual schooling there. And then it just sort of evolved from that. We spoke to other parents and they all felt similarly. And it evolved into a protest at Yorkdale Mall that we had last night. And thankfully, a lot of parents came out, a lot of students were there, and people who work at the mall, were shopping at the mall, were all really supportive and, wanted to join the cause. And we're urging everyone to contact government officials and do whatever you can.
Now, you were saying it in a very polite way that it was absurd. I think there was a lot more anger than that in terms of parents who are just at the end of their rope and really angry.
So, yes, one of my mom friends who helped with this always jokes that I'm a bit too positive. I'm always very positive. So I try to be positive, but this is the third school year and it's not working. It's not stopping or even slowing the spread of COVID. And Ontario had their highest numbers ever. They're high, the numbers were high, but it was at the end of what is presumably a 2-week winter break for, the vast majority or all schools in Ontario. So it's not the schools who are causing this uptick in surge in COVID cases. So it seems a little backwards to have the schools have a shutdown when they aren't really the root cause of the problem.
So, there were some pushback online. I don't know if you saw on the YouTube, some people were saying, how come you guys aren't wearing masks? Or some people aren't wearing masks properly. And I did see that. What do you say to those comments?
Sorry, at the mall? So we did speak to anyone who showed up not wearing a mask because, frankly, that's just the rules. And I know that those people who weren't had exemptions, and I didn't even realize that was a thing. And my friend and I who arranged this were like, oh, we should have put on the flyer that masks are mandatory, but it didn't occur to us that people wouldn't wear masks. So we did speak to the individuals who weren't wearing them properly or weren't wearing them at all, because ultimately we feel like it's not a good reflection of parents of Ontario and for what we're fighting for. And we don't want it to detract from the bigger issue. And then obviously within the vast majority of our community that was there, we just think it doesn't look good for, Klal Yisrael to be not in line with what the rules should be. So I was wearing a mask, my children were wearing masks, we had, KN95s on. We take the safety seriously, and our kids go to a school that is, they're wearing masks all day long. The kids are used to it. I think some adults have problems with it, throughout the world, obviously, as we've seen. But so that was an issue, and we did address it with people there, but, mall security didn't have an issue, so we can't really do anything ourselves.
Let's talk about the school and being back online and describe what it's like in your house. what is it like in the routine? You guys have been there, it's not the first rodeo, right? You've done this before, but what is it actually like for someone who doesn't know?
It's not our first rodeo. So, I think it depends on your children and it depends on the ages. So as the kids get older, the days are structured and it's like, maybe 8 to 9 a.m. It's this class. And then you have a 10-minute break and then it's this class. And then you have to get them set up for these things. And then there's normally offshoot websites to submit their math assignments or whatever they're working on. But when you have that with multiple children, the schedules don't always line up. So like one kid might have a break and the other kid doesn't. And then it's frustrating because they want to play with each other, but they're not on their breaks together. And as the parent who's going, back and forth and, okay, this one can't get onto Zoom and, oh no, this one, the internet went down or the website isn't working or something's wrong with the login or we just can't get this. And then, by the way, I, like many other parents, have younger children. I have a 3-year-old and a newborn, and the 3-year-old requires a lot of attention and assistance, and he deserves it. But it's hard to say, no, you have to do this by yourself. Mommy has to help. My husband travels. He's in Montreal for work right now. So I am by myself, which I think is true for many, many parents, to have maybe one person who's working outside of the home, one person's at home. And by the way, even parents who are both working, even if it's from home, it's really, really challenging to get anything done with kids at home, let alone when you're trying to be their teacher and full-time chef all day. So it's really a lot of tech support, or when they say, I can't do it, I can't look at the computer, it's giving me a headache, or you just can't log in, or the teacher isn't available that day, and we just shut it down and we find other schoolwork to do. And it's a lot of snack making. It's a lot of time in the kitchen and trying to get them outside for any breaks that you can, so they, get some fresh air. And if you can see friends, try and get them to be able to see people and socialize a bit. Physical activity, because not only is the school shut down, but like sports programs are shut down, their gyms are shut down. My kids go to Krav Maga and they've been going to this studio for years, and that's a Canadian Jewish business that's also suffering right now. And it's really, I think the kids have just sacrificed so much, and their days are long. And with pediatric recommendations, so it's been no screen time, 2 hours a day. These kids are sitting on computers from, 9 till 3, 8 till 4, whatever the age is. Like high school students have very long days. And then it's, if you want to do an extracurricular, great. You can do it online. You can do your physical activity online. It's too much. It's exhausting. I think parents are exhausted. Educators are exhausted. The children are exhausted. It's really, you get up and you're just go on a computer all day long.
A lot of parents are saying that the schools do not have proper masks. The teachers do not have HEPA machines in the classroom and ventilation. And that's a big ask before anybody goes back to school. What do you want?
So our school actually does have the HEPA filters in the classroom. We're lucky with that. And our teachers do have the KN95 masks. So that hasn't been an issue in our school. But I do think that's something that should be in all of the schools. And I really, frankly, think it's something that the government should have worked out a very long time ago. This isn't our first year. It's not even really our second year. We've been doing this since 2020, 2021, and now we're in 2022. And this is something that they could have and should have been prepared for. And the teacher, it shouldn't be, in the second semester of our third school year going, maybe we should look into better filtration or providing our teachers with the safest equipment possible. Like these should have been initial steps, especially once we hit with Delta.
So did you want your kids to go back in January, and then despite the fact that, they're still at risk, and you personally haven't had it either?
So I personally haven't had it. But yes, I think at this point, again, in our, 2 full years of this and 3 school years, I think most people are incredibly aware of any risks that we're taking, whether you're going to a restaurant, whether you're going to the movie theater, or frankly, whether you're just having coffee with a friend. Even as we know, being vaccinated, at this point, there's nothing to sort of slow or stop this. It's kind of a beast that's out of our control. But I think there are families who are not comfortable, and that's okay too. And I think that they should have the option to be able to keep their kids at home because that's what they feel is safest. But I do believe the majority of parents, and we can see that even with public school enrollment, the amount of people who went virtual last year versus this year, because you could opt in either way at the beginning of the school year, the majority of parents want their kids in school. And to us, it's a risk that is worth taking. It just is.
Do you have any future, besides the protest, what is next? Is there a change.org petition? Is there, because January 17th is the date that they said they would reopen, but no one really knows. So, what are your plans?
So we're working on this. We were discussing last night, and first and foremost, we feel that everyone should be emailing, and preferably in their own words as opposed to form letters. But like, if you can take the time, and it really just takes a couple minutes, email Mayor Tory, email Premier, Doug Ford, email Stephen Lecce, email Christine Elliott, email whoever you can, and let them know what you're thinking and how you're feeling. And the more they hear from us as individuals in our own words, hopefully it can make a difference. As we've seen, protests and people speaking out can make a difference. It can make a change. We're looking into doing an outdoor protest next week. We haven't decided where yet, but we will hopefully be announcing that soon. And we really hope that the government can open schools now, and at the very least ensure that they open them on the date that they're saying, and not have 2 weeks extend to 6 months, as we've seen in previous school years.
Okay, quickly, I hear the posse is rousing behind you there, which is part of the whole thing. Is how do you get anything done? You must be exhausted. And how are the kids coping with this? It's only been a couple of days, but how are they coping?
It's been a couple of days, but as you said, our school in particular has had a few shutdowns. So it's been a lot of this school year, and it's our 3rd school year of this. And so, I think thankfully my kids are coping as well as they can, but they are, as you can hear, there are meltdowns during the day. There are days when certain kids get up and go, I can't do it. I can't go on the computer. I just can't. And I get it. I don't force them to, because I wouldn't want to sit on a computer all day. It's not fun.
Do you notice anything in particular about their mental health or behavior? A lot of people talk about how it's affected.
For sure. I think there are lots of things, and I see it, sometimes in my own children, but also in friends' children, who are more apprehensive when they're with other people, and they're only used to seeing people in masks, which is its own thing, but they just don't have some of the social skills or even like attention spans. I feel like it's just been so challenging, and their mental health and physical health is really, I think, for all the children in this province is greatly suffering as a result of these continued shutdowns of their schools.
All right. Hi, boys. Nice to meet you.
Abel, and this is Mason, grade 5 and grade 2.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you for squeezing in with your mom on our interview with the Canadian Jewish News. I want one of you guys to describe what it's been like to go to that protest at Yorkdale. That was, I assume, your first time doing a protest. What was it like for you guys?
I don't know. I just
You got to come really close because I can't hear you. Far away from the mic. Okay, maybe sit. I'll move over a little bit.
At first, I didn't feel so good about doing it, but then when I actually got doing it, I was like, yeah, this is okay.
Why didn't you feel good about doing it? What was worrying you?
the security guards would kick us out.
They were very worried about getting in trouble. And I said, mommy's a very big rule follower. And thankfully, actually, when we got there, mall security came to us and said, we know that you're planning on having a protest here. We're okay with it. As long as we told them where we would stay. And as long as we weren't, disrupting shoppers, they were fine with it. And many of them are parents as well and feel the same way.
Oh, I see. Okay. I understand though. Mason, what's your schedule like being online compared to what it's like to be in school? Can you describe it for us?
Yeah, half the time, like the people who are speaking are on mute and they don't realize it. And then there's always sometimes the teacher will forget to give access to the thing that they're doing on the kids, and it's just a lot of trying to figure out what to do.
So that sounds like it's frustrating and maybe boring.
Yeah, you don't really learn that much in Zoom.
But you were in school Monday, Tuesday, right? In person.
Yeah.
Did you have a feeling that they were going to pull the plug and that you'd be back online again?
Our teacher told us, so yeah, we know.
And what was your reaction to that news?
I just felt that it was why? Why did they have to do it?
What do you think?
I think that they should open the schools again
because we have masks. We don't sit near. We don't usually go near each other. We shouldn't be online.
And then I got into Abel's car.
Oh, you got into the car. Why shouldn't you be online, Abel?
Because it's not fun.
Have you noticed that you have been missing out on learning stuff? Do you feel like you're behind at all?
Definitely.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Definitely.
So what does that look like? Give me an example.
When we're trying to learn stuff, it's harder to read it when it's on the screen, because you can't because it's smaller than when you're really reading it.
I'm a teacher too, and being online all day, my eyes get so dry and I get headaches. Did that happen to you guys?
Yeah, it always happens. That's why I skip the classes that way. You don't actually.
Yeah, when it's art or work that I've already done earlier, I just get off the class.
Yeah, they normally opt out of art and gym.
Mommy, I need chocolate Mentos.
Yeah. Which, are valuable classes. At school, I think art is so essential for their creativity. And by the way, I have children who are pretty good at drawing and painting, and they like these things.
Let's see what you made.
Oh, here, you want to show? It's a drawing from
Yechiel Kichel. Who's that?
Yeah. It's a comic that's in one of the magazines we get for Shabbat. And anyway,
That's pretty good, actually. I saw that the school posted some pictures. People were making hot chocolate with marshmallow cups. Did you guys do that?
No, it wasn't there. Well, also they don't participate in the Zoom.
Oh, you don't do art. So art and gym you do on your own. It's too much in a day to be on the computer. And Mason really gets terrible headaches from being on the computer. And it's a challenge. And I think about the families who don't have a parent who can give as much attention. Right.
Or try and.
You don't have help in the house. You're alone with four of them, right?
Yeah.
What about one last thing? What about the other kids that are online with you guys? Mason, you said a lot of them just turn their mute off, but is the camera on? Do you see your friends? Can you actually talk to them or text with them or chat with them?
No, the chat is not the host always disables the chat, so no one can chat. And you can't talk to someone without everyone else hearing what you're talking about.
Yeah, they would be disrupting the class, and they don't get those recess breaks and other courses that they get in school.
All right. It sounds like it's a little bit crazy there, but that's the point.
wait.
So, anything that you want our listeners to understand about why schools should be open? Hold on a second. Quiet.
I'm
Bye.
having supplementals.
Okay.
You had COVID, right? What was that like? Tell everybody what it was like.
I didn't feel anything.
It was less worse than a cold.
So they didn't get, my kids, thank God, did not get sick at all. My husband was sick for a few days, and he felt miserable, like he felt sick, but the kids did not. And so we put them all together in one room, and they called it Camp COVID, and they said, we're positive in 2 ways, positive outlook and positive with COVID. And I said, well, at least you have a positive attitude.
Look, at least you have each other and nobody's pounding. I mean, maybe you are pounding each other when no one's looking. At least you guys have each other, right?
And I'm so grateful for that. And again, it's another thing. I think of kids who don't have that relationship with siblings, or who don't have siblings. And, I just think the children of this province are missing out on so much. And it's terrible that we can't be better for the children.
Look, whatever happens, you guys certainly have been, noticed, and good luck with your ongoing homework at home as you navigate this crazy time. It's been really, really nice to talk with you. Stay in touch. Let us know what's going on. And thanks for being on the CJN Daily.
Thank you so much for having us.